How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tales from the Darkside. This is Season 3, Episode 5, and this one's entitled The Geezenstacks. This is from October 26, 1986, so this was the last episode to come out before Halloween of that year. This is directed by Bill Travis and stars Craig Wasson, Tandy Cronyn, Larry Pine, and Lana Hirsch. The teleplay was by Nancy Doyne, based on a story by Fredric Brown. Now, overall, Season 3 had lots of highs and lows going into it, let's just say. We opened up with a classic George Romero episode, The Circus, and then we had two episodes that weren't so great. The last episode, Florence Bravo, was cool haunted house atmosphere, but ultimately a story that was fairly predictable. But this one, I really feel like we're getting back into really just solid Darkside. So yeah, highs with The Circus, lows with The Bitterest Pill, but hopefully, I mean, this one was really good, and now I'm really looking forward to the rest of Season 3. Basically, in this episode, we get a family, and their uncle brings over a present for the daughter. A weird little dollhouse with weird little dolls inside, and there's one doll for each member of the family. The daughter begins doing little scenarios with her toys, and the dad realizes that the scenarios with the toys start to happen to the real-life family. There is a connection, there is a bit of a prophecy going on with the dollhouse, and he develops a sense of paranoia attached to it. And that's a really cool concept. I said with last season's episode, Ursa Minor, that was a haunted teddy bear story. I said I was really surprised to get a haunted toy story, you know? Toys are just really fun when they're creepy and evil. I mean, that's why Full Moon did so many of them. But I saw that this one was going to be a haunted doll story, and let me just say, I got really excited, especially seeing the designs on these things. They are so creepy and weird looking. That was really cool. So haunted toys, but also predicting the future, getting prophecies and vague warnings. Yeah, I really do like this idea. It's really, really cool. Now, that being said, I say this quite a bit. A lot of times with Darkside, I feel like some of their episodes would be better as movies, and I really wish someone would remake the show, but not as another show, but as a series of movies. And I think, you know, like Netflix could do that. You know how they made Fear Street as a series of 3 movies that came out weekly, or Hulu doing Into the Dark, a new movie every month? That's what I would love to see them do with Darkside. Especially, you get an episode like this, I would love to see it expanded upon. I would love to see a whole bunch more predictions and the dad desperately trying to figure out what's going on, how to stop stuff. Can he even stop stuff? There's so much potential, and it definitely could run for the whole 90 minutes. Here we only get 22, you know? But that being said, a really cool episode. Wish it was longer and there's more of it, but cool doll stuff, cool prophecy stuff. Overall, I really liked it. Now, that being said, if you guys like this episode, I do have a recommendation. Shudder's Creepshow TV show, there was an episode called House of the Head, which was about a little girl with her dollhouse, and essentially when she wasn't looking, there'd be like a horror movie playing out in the dollhouse, and she had to figure out how to help them. It's not the same concept, but it was one that definitely rang a bell in my head watching this episode. And if you haven't seen the Creepshow TV show, definitely recommend it. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about the plot. I want to go ahead and analyze this episode a little deeper. I won't be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to analyze it, point out stuff that I thought was interesting, stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, I won't spoil the ending on this one. Anyway, we open up with the family, mom, dad, little kid, and they tell the little kid the uncle's coming over, and when the uncle comes over, he brings her a present. It's this dollhouse, and the dollhouse, I do love the design of the house and the dolls inside. The dollhouse is just a little bit too big, a little bit too bulky, and it just feels a little different than a regular kid's dollhouse, It's a red color that's way too red, which definitely seems strange. It doesn't open in half. It has little doors cut out in the sides, and it just seems a little too big, a little too awkward, where you can look at it and say, that's a dollhouse, but there does seem to be something wrong with it. And also, the dolls inside, they're creepy without looking overly creepy, without looking overly intentionally creepy, and I do really like that. They got weird little carved out faces, they got dark black eyes, they're really pale, and in fact, one of them looks like horror writer H.P. Lovecraft, which I thought was pretty funny, and wonder if it was done as an inside joke. And like, the carved out look of their face kind of reminds me of Blade from the Puppet Master series. Kind of wonder if they used this as a reference or not. But yeah, the dollhouse, a little big and awkward. The puppets, weird and creepy. Good stuff for the design of this thing. But she decides to call the dolls the Geezenstacks. A really weird name that the kid comes up with. And there's 4 of them, and she decides that they are a mom, a dad, a daughter, and an uncle, which just so happens to pair out with the real-life people in the house at the moment. So there's one doll for everybody there. And the father says, hey, uncle, where did you get these dolls? And he goes, I'm a realtor. There was a house. The family just up and left, and the only thing they left behind was this dollhouse. Everything else was empty. And as horror movie fans, that sends up red flags to us at home, but in real life, yeah, people just leave their house sometimes, the bank repossesses it. What's this, a dollhouse? Just want to throw it in the trash? Nah, let's do something with it, I'll give it to my niece, In real life, it's not so suspicious, but yeah, family disappears without a trace. Oh, they're probably just gone somewhere. What's the only thing left? This creepy dollhouse? Nah, it's fine. So yeah, I did like that. But anyway, the daughter starts, over the coming days, doing little scenarios with her dolls, and she seems like she's just playing. It's just what kids do. Pick up the dolls, have them talk to each other, do little mundane house things. Well, one of the stories, the mom, Mrs. Geezenstacks, comes home with a new coat, and the daughter does this whole story. I couldn't help myself, I have this new coat, it's got big buttons on it, it looks nice. Well then, the real life mom shows up with a coat on and says, honey, I'm sorry, I was kind of an impulse buy, but I saw it in the window, it looks really nice. And the dad goes, wait a minute, Mrs. Geezenstacks just bought a coat, and now you show up with a coat. What a fun little coincidence, right? Well, later on, Mr. Geezenstacks gets sick, and the daughter's doing this whole thing. No, Mr. Geezenstacks, you can't go to work today. Stay in bed today. You're sick. Then the next day, the dad gets sick, and the wife says, I know you have this big meeting. You can't go in. Stay in bed. And at this point, it's like, okay, that's 2 for 2. My daughter's stories are becoming real. And he's like asking his daughter, how's Mr. Geezenstacks feeling today? Oh, he's fine today. He was sick yesterday, but he's doing better now. And the dad's like, okay, it's just gonna be a one-day thing. But the dad's getting paranoid. He realizes the things in the dollhouse are happening to the real-life counterparts. And I do like when the dad presents this to the mom, what the mother says, because you obviously have to dismiss it at first. You can't just jump right into crazy theories, and from a writing standpoint, you have to preserve the status quo as long as you can. But usually, in a lot of other horror movies, it's something ridiculously horrible happening and some weirdo character going, it's fine. But I do like what they wrote here. It's a very plausible dismissal. In this episode, the mom says, what happened so far? I bought a coat, you got sick. It's winter. People buy coats in the winter. People get sick in the winter. It's what's happening around us. That's why the daughter's making the Geezenstacks do it. That's why it happened to us. These are common winter things. I really did like that rationalization. Really solid rationalization there. But also, the dad tries to talk to the daughter. And I do like how the daughter responds to this stuff. Because you see, the daughter was just playing. She's not really actively trying to document every single thing that happens. So when the dad's like, didn't Mrs. Geezenstack buy a new coat? The daughter's like, maybe, I guess, I think so. And I do like, it really does feel like talking to a real kid. Because there is sometimes when you talk to kids, that level of disinterest, and failure to see when an adult thinks something's important, and just going, yeah, I guess, why? I don't care. Bye, Dad. And I do like, almost sort of dismissing it more than the wife. And the daughter just, being super hard to work with. I thought both funny and realistic there, so definitely like that response. But the dad gets paranoid, and you start to wonder when the daughter does a story, what exactly she means, what exactly is going to happen, when is it going to happen, and can you prevent it? Which, again, only 22 minutes. I wish this was longer, because definitely could do way more with this concept. I really wish full hour and a half long movie. I really could watch a lot more of this. I like the whole predicting the future idea, but like I said, 22-minute episode. They got as good a mileage as they could within 22 minutes, but yeah, it does feel a little cut off a little too early. I wanted to see a whole bunch more. Again, time block issues, but yeah, would be cool as a movie. Also, one thing I do have to mention is there is a scene in here where the dad snaps, and I get he's supposed to be under a lot of stress. It's supposed to be something he didn't really mean to do, but he had all this build-up, and then he just kind of snapped. But they don't sell it as much as they should, and it does make you just not relate to the dad as much. And I don't know, I wish they had really worked on amping up the stress if they did want to do this, but yeah, I didn't really like the scene where the dad just snaps a little bit at his family. It wasn't sold 100% right. But also I should mention one more thing, and I won't spoil it, but I really do love the ending to this episode. It is really strong. Now that being said, it is something that kind of comes out of nowhere and doesn't necessarily feel like what the episode was going to be leading to. It is definitely one of those left turn endings, but boy, can I forgive it, because it is something that is so big and so crazy and definitely comes out of nowhere. And it is one of those things where you see it happening, you're like, oh wow, that's crazy, that's a cool ending. Don't know if it makes sense, but I like it. And even then, there's like the main crazy ending, but then they take it a step further, and when you get that last sort of reveal to this episode, it makes you go, what? And then start to really think, and then wonder just how deep does this thing go? How long has this been going on? What exactly is this dollhouse like? Crazy, crazy ending, and I definitely loved it. Really, really cool. Anyway, this is a really good episode of Darkside. I'm not sure if it will crack top 10 of the whole series or not, but definitely one of the better episodes with, you know, cool creepy dolls, a fun future, predict the future concept, an absolutely insane ending, and lots of little moments in the story I definitely enjoyed. So yeah, definitely recommend this one. One of my favorites. I do love creepy toys. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Tales from the Darkside playlist, and this playlist is actually getting quite long. I've done overviews for Season 1 and 2, I covered the Joe Hill comic, and I also talked about every previous episode of this show, and you should be able to find them there. So that's, yeah, well over 50 episodes, plus I did the Christmas ones early. It's kinda long. If you want something to listen to, definitely check it out. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Darkside playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.